Tangsu Nesha? Yes, new IEM from Tangsu. Well, one of the newer ones. They also have the Xuanwu Gate as well, which is another very expensive IEM from them. You guys do not know Tangsu. They usually focus on the more mid-fi slash budget IEMs, and in that realm, they're pretty well known. You guys probably know the Wan-Er, the Chang'e, the Heyday. This is pretty much Tangsu's first ever journey into the more expensive IEM territory. This one is $399, 6BA plus 1 PC, what? Not PCT. EST, you say. Oh, when did they change that? Not too long ago. Well, Tangsu, sir, I think you have some explaining to do. Hey friends, Timmy, welcome back to my video on Giz Audio, and yes, you heard that right. Tangsu changed their marketing on the Nesha to say 1 EST instead of 1 PCT. So every reviewer or anyone who got the early unit got the ones that I have right now that says 1 PCT. And even in their old marketing on websites that didn't change the marketing yet, it still says 6BA plus 1 PCT. Only on some sites that got the update already is advertising 1 EST. So I don't know what's actually in this thing, and unless I crack it open, which I'm not going to do, I don't know what's in here. Though I will say though, advertising as 1 EST is a little strange, because if you guys did not know, EST comes in pairs. So you often see, or you almost all the time see, 2 ESTs or 4 ESTs, always in even numbers, never in odd numbers. In fact, there's been a total of 3 times that I know of, including the Nesha, that brands advertise 1 EST. And one of them I think has been debunked as not really an EST. So I have no clue what's in here. Tangsu, if you're watching, please explain. But regardless of this, if it sounds good for the price, I can forgive the lack of clarity in the marketing. So let's jump into the tuning. The Nesha is a very balanced, semi-V-shape-ish IEM. It is non-offensive in its entirety, really. The bass is quite strong. Other elements like the upper mid-range and the treble also comes forward just as much as the bass. Speaking of the mid-range here is not shouty in any way. It's not too recessed in any way. It's just very inoffensive. Like, it's trying to please everyone kind of mid-range. It's not tucked, it's not bloaty, which is good. Also, again, not shouty, not compressed, which is also good. But at the same time, it doesn't have any kind of standout quality about it. Vocals don't really jump out or shine in a way that you want vocals to shine. So there's a trade-off there. Safe, in this case, comes with the con of being a bit on the boring side, in my personal opinion. Now on to the treble, I would say this has quite a bit of treble, but it's smooth, so it displays micro nuances without coming across fatiguing, peaky, or damaging the timbre of mid instruments in any way. It's not the most natural sounding timbre I've ever heard, but it's still on the good side. The amount of treble here didn't damage the timbre like a lot of other sets tend to do. So overall, tuning wise, I think majority of people are going to enjoy the Nesha. I don't have a lot to complain about it. The only issue I have is just the overall lack of contrast that the tuning give. It comes across very, I wouldn't want to say one-dimensional, but it lacks clear distinction and separation in the track. Like the bass, the vocals, the treble all kind of play in a similar kind of volume playing field. So it does get kind of busy and crowded at times, and it doesn't really, again, separate the instrument as much as I want it to be separated. So imaging quality suffers due to the tuning choices of this IEM. In terms of technical performance, like I said again, the imaging does suffer due to the tuning choice here. Instrumental separation is not as good. The one thing that the Nesha has going for it tech-wise would be the micro nuances, the treble department. It does that part very well, but in terms of everything else, it's just okay at best. So with my scale up here, I can only award the Nesha a tech grade of slightly bit below the Blessing 3, which is a good place to be, mind you, it's not a bad place to be, but for $400, I would like it to be a bit better. Next is comparison. I have two IEMs today. The first one is the Alpha Performer 8 coming in at around 300 something, almost $400, which is similar price to the Nesha. The Performer 8 comes across immediately more contrasty. The imaging is a step up from the Nesha, although tuning wise I would say it has less bass punch than the Nesha. I would say the Nesha has better quality bass overall and a more satisfying sounding bass, a more balanced signature, while the Performer 8 focuses more on the upper, mid-range and treble, more of a bright and vocal forward signature, if you will. So signature wise it comes down to taste, but tech wise I would say the Performer 8 pretty much is the clear winner. Next is with the Studio 4, and largely similar story with the Performer 8. The Studio 4 is a tech upgrade over the Nesha and also a clarity upgrade as well. Tuning wise, I would say if you want a more balanced and bassy kind of signature, you would go for the Nesha, while the Studio 4 is more like a referencey kind of signature, so that's up to preference for you. In terms of treble quality and treble details, I would say the Studio 4 comes across a bit more organic, I would say, than on the Nesha, a bit more smooth and natural. I love the timbre on the Studio 4. The Nesha just doesn't quite match up in that department. Overall though, I like the Studio 4 more. I feel like it's just a more complete IEM. It sacrifices a lot less things than on the Nesha. But then again, they're totally different tuning. My tuning preference might not match the Nesha as much as it does for Performer 8 or Studio 4. Yours might be the complete opposite of me, so you can make your own decisions there. But regardless, the Studio 4 and the Performer 8 are both tech upgrades over the Nesha. All right, final rating time. The Nesha gets a yellow. Yes, it's something that I recommend you try it first, not a blind buy IEM. It's not something that competes super well in the price bracket that it's in. I would say the biggest downfall of the Nesha would be the fact that it goes for such a safe tuning. Like, it's borderline too safe. It's trying to cater to everyone. It's trying to cater a bit to bass head. It's trying to cater a bit to vocal lovers. It's trying to cater a bit to detail lovers. And by doing that, it basically caters to nobody, because the bass, I would say, is not strong enough or it's not distinct enough that I would recommend to bass head. The upper mid-range doesn't have enough clarity or forwardness that I would recommend to vocal lovers. And I forgot to mention this in the treble section, but the treble on the Nesha lacks a lot of air, which is something that treble lovers like. And again, there's nothing wrong with going for a super safe signature. That might be something you're looking for exactly, then yes, the Nesha might be the one for you. But overall, people have preferences, people have tastes. And when I get asked by the community, normally they ask for, hey Timmy, what's the best bass head recommendation? Timmy, what's the best vocal recommendation? Timmy, what's the best detail recommendation? And for me, the Nesha just doesn't fit any one of those. Like, I have no clue who I would recommend this to. I just don't know who to recommend this to, and that's one of the biggest problem. And also with the tech issue as well in the imaging, brings this down to just, for me, a yellow thumb. All right, that's it for this review today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video. Hopefully very soon. Peace, bye.